There is a moment, you have felt it, when the land stops feeding you. Not with thunder, not with fire. It happens quietly. The coffee tastes the same. The commute takes the same number of minutes. The air conditioning breathes cold, engineered, odorless air onto the back of your neck. A wind that has never touched grass, never crossed a valley, never carried the name of a god. And beneath that artificial stillness, buried under the exhaustion and the noise and the thousand small surrenders you have started calling routine, there is a sound, low, insistent, the feeling that what once sustained you is no longer sustaining you, that the roots you sank here are pulling at something hollow. You are standing in ash, and still, you wait for the harvest. The ancient nomads of the Central Asian steppe did not wait. They could not afford the luxury of denial. When the grass turned brown and the rivers pulled back from their banks, when the herd began to thin and the wind shifted to carry dust instead of rain, they read the signs that Gök Tengri, the Lord of the eternal blue sky, wrote across the world in the language of dying vegetation and retreating water. And they moved. They dismantled their yurts with the same practiced hands that had built them, loaded everything that mattered onto horses and camels, and turned their faces toward the horizon, toward the terrifying, open, unknowable horizon. Not because they were brave, because they had learned to read, to look at their circumstances with clear, wolf-bright eyes, and name what they saw without softening it. And far above you right now, somewhere on the ridge between what you know and what you have been avoiding, a gray shape moves. The sky wolf, Gökberu, not waiting, watching, its breath misting in the cold air, a low growl in the back of its throat, not a warning, not yet, but the beginning of one. Do you hear it? That sound in your sternum, just below the place where you keep your excuses, that vibration that knows your name, that is not nostalgia. That is a signal. Minas, here is what the textbooks do not tell you about the Great Migration. They give you dates and distances, the movements of peoples across parchment maps. They give you the names of Kagans. They make it tidy. But the Great Migration was not tidy. It was the opposite of tidy. It was a continent exhaling everything it had built and beginning again from nothing, moving through conditions that would have broken anything less desperately alive. Picture the night, not the comfortable, street-lit theater of a modern city, where darkness is decorative. Picture the absolute, merciless dark of the Central Asian steppe at midnight, 300 miles from the nearest settlement. The cold is not the cold you know from air-conditioned offices and open refrigerators. This cold reaches down into you like a hand and closes around the warmth you have saved for yourself and systematically removes it. It does not feel. It does not negotiate. It takes. And if you do not move, if you stop and wait for the warmth to return, it kills you. You are sitting in a chair that was designed to keep you comfortable enough not to move. Feel the difference. The chair offers softness. The chair gives you temperature-controlled air and background music, and the mild numbing pleasure of knowing exactly what tomorrow will look like. The steppe gives you lungs that burn, thighs that ache, a horizon that refuses to get closer, and the singular, terrible, magnificent truth that you are alive. The people of the Great Migration, the Turkic clans, the wave after wave of nomadic peoples that moved from the heart of Central Asia toward every horizon, they crossed frozen rivers that buckled and cracked beneath the weight of herds and families. They navigated mountain passes in the Tian Shan where the air thinned to almost nothing. They slept on ground that had not decided, yet, whether to kill them. Children grew up in the movement, knowing the names of stars before the names of streets, learning to read landmarks instead of maps, inheriting not addresses but directions. And still they moved, because Gök Tengri did not bless those who waited. The divine covenant of the eternal sky was not a throne. It was a direction. Move, it said. Because the sky itself, boundless, directional, alive, was the only home worth claiming. Now let me show you what comfort has made of us. The stone does not know it is covered in moss. The tree does not know its roots have rotted through. The person who has been in the same dying land for 5, 7, 10 years, they have developed an extraordinary capacity to not know, to feel the ash under their feet and call it soil, to feel the hollow where nourishment used to be and call it stability. This is not weakness. It is something more insidious. It is the intelligence of the body, turned against the spirit. The brain, built for survival, learns that the threat of the unknown is sharper than the slow death of the familiar. It cannot tell the difference between a cage with a soft floor and a sanctuary. It measures comfort not by what nourishes, but by what does not currently kill. The steppe people had a different intelligence. They thought in terms of seasons, not days. They measured livability not by what was safe today, but by what would sustain life in 6 months. They looked at the grass and thought this will be gone by autumn. They looked at their children and thought, these children need a land that will still be alive when they are grown. When did we lose that? When did we start reading our lives in days instead of seasons? Do not answer. The sky wolf has not finished speaking. He has moved closer. He is not on the ridge anymore. He is 20 feet behind you. And if you turn now slowly, very slowly, you will see the turquoise of his eyes burning steady in the near dark, not with the warmth of a fire, but with something colder and more certain. The certainty of something that knows exactly where it is going. Its paw breaks the crust of snow, and the small sharp crack is the loudest sound in the world. Follow me, it says, not with its voice, with its direction. At the crossing, you will not understand the weight of it from a distance. You have to imagine yourself into the water, the river ice that has held for months suddenly speaking in deep structural cracks beneath the feet of horses, children, everything you own. The crack of ice moving under gravity sounds nothing like the sharp snapping of a thin piece. It sounds like a decision being made by something very old and very large. It sounds like the earth changing its mind. And into that sound, into that darkness, into that cold, they went, because the land behind them was dying, because the land ahead of them was at least alive, even if it was also dangerous, even if it bit and froze and took from them everything that was not essential. Listen carefully. I am not promising you a paradise. I am not telling you the other side of the river is a warm meadow. It will be cold there too. There will be things that take from you there too, but they will take from you while you are moving. And there is a fundamental difference between dying still and dying forward. The new land asks different things of you, harder things sometimes, but they are the things you were made to give. Not the slow, hourly surrender of the dying land that keeps asking for less and less until there is nothing left to take but the total, exhilarating cost of beginning. Gok Tengri demands this. Not piety, not ceremony. He demands the submission of your fear to your direction. He demands that you look at the horizon, the real one, the one that frightens you, and begin walking. Here is how the Great Migration ends, in every telling, in every version, in every voice that has ever carried this story across the steppe at night. Not with arrival, not with a moment of having arrived, finally, and being safe. It ends with a people who have become, through the act of crossing, something the people who stayed could never become. Fluent in the language of change. At home in the beginning. Capable of reading any land, any sky, any river for what it is, not for what they hope it might be. The nomad does not own the land. The land does not own the nomad. The relationship is something else. A covenant. A mutual recognition that land and people sustain each other only for as long as both are willing to be honest about what is real. This is the thing that modern life has buried under climate-controlled buildings and delivery services, and the narcotic comfort of never having to need anything that is not already immediately available. The ability to be honest about what is real. The old shaman would look at your life and ask one question. Not, are you happy? Not, are you safe? He would ask, is this land still alive? And if you paused before answering, if you hesitated even a second before saying yes, he would already be pointing toward the horizon. Go, he would say. Not because it is better there, because you are better when you go. The sky before dawn on the steppe does not simply lighten. It is excavated. The first light comes not from above, but from the edge of the world, like something enormous turning a face toward you, and the deep navy of the night sky yields slowly, the way powerful things yield, with a kind of weight that makes the witnessing feel like something you have been given. You are at the bank of the frozen river. The ice is cracking, not because it is weak, because it is time, because everything that holds eventually releases, and the things that release are the things that were always meant to become water. Take your feet out of that soft, sinking, ashing ground. You know which ground I mean. You have always known. The sky wolf has stopped moving. He is looking at you from the far bank. His breath ghosts in the cold air. His turquoise eyes do not flicker. He is not waiting for your fear to go away. He is waiting for you to move while it is still here. That is the difference. That is the entire lesson. Courage is not the absence of the cold. It is choosing the right cold. Pack your tent. The wolf is already moving. The steppe is already open. And every step you take toward the river is a step away from the land that has been slowly forgetting your name. The sky is watching, and it only blesses those who do.